and you don't seem to understand. A shame you seemed an honest man.
Yo, it's Hannah, and today we are going to be thrifting in Portland, Maine. So I've been wanting to make this video since I picked up this little guide from Little Ghost Vintage a couple weeks ago, but just haven't had the time. So this is, oh, it's upside down. This is Portland's Vintage Voyage, and inside there is a list of resale shops, as well as a legend on the back with a symbol that means vintage clothing and accessories, or vintage art and collectibles, or vintage media. And underneath each shop, there's the symbols for what it has to offer, as well as like a short little description. When I was managing the vintage stores in St. Louis, my boss made something very, very similar for St. Louis vintage stores. The only downside is in St. Louis, they are all very spread out, so you can't really just walk from one place to the next. You gotta drive across the city most of the time. But this one is a walkable route. So you start at one end and you can hit all the shops along the way. The only thing I noticed when I was looking all these places up is Flee For All has moved to a further away location. So I will have to drive to this one. Hopefully I can fit it in the video still. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure. But the rest we are going to hit as long as we can. I showed up here kind of late today. It's like 2 o'clock. So we gotta get moving. We are starting off so strong with Weekend Vintage. I actually shop in here all the time when I'm in Portland because it's right next to my favorite Portland bar, LFK. This shop is very reasonable in their prices and well curated, but not overly curated. There's something in here for everyone, and the shop in general is just so cute. Next, we headed into Merchant & Co., and this immediately transported me into a Wes Anderson movie. It looked adorable in there. They had vintage clothes, they had records, crafts, little novelties. A little more on the pricier side, but you can definitely pick up some trinkets for cheap or just some fun novelties. Green Hand looks like every disheveled book lover's dream. It's overstocked, it's messy, it's kind of dim lit. Also, I did not know they made X-Files novels. Very cool find. But this store I do have a quarrel with because I never can find what I'm looking for in there, and then when I do find it, it's always overpriced. Like, tell me why a 2003 paperback Stephen King book is $20. I know he's Maine's Prince, but come on. This was cool though, this shining like limited edition print thing, but it was $600. That's nuts. Anyways, moving on to Coast City Comics. I love this store. Obviously there's comics, they've got little figurines, tech decks, horror novelties, even hair dye. There's pinball in the back, a skate shop in the back. Everything a little like nerdy alternative kid could want in a store. Also, for the horror display, they had Lock and Key front and center. It's one of my favorite graphic novel series ever. Check it out if you like horror. Love this place. Moody Lords. This store is so cozy, very aesthetically pleasing, but it is super curated. If that's your jam, you'll probably love this store. There's even a record section with like a listening lounge. Very cool, but too curated for me and too expensive. I almost gave into temptation and got this squirrel dungaree dress, but I stayed strong. And headed down to Electric Buddhas. Obviously this is a record store, but it felt more like a cool kid pop culture store because there was a lot of novelties in here, stickers, patches, movie posters. I especially love the Cryptid and the Fallout patch. Love. And then there was also like vintage game systems and games in here. Not so many games, it was more like the hacked emulator cartridges. Still very cool though, and just a fun shop to come in and browse. Further down was Material Objects, and this was more of a thrift store. I didn't see too much vintage, but it's very big, so I'm sure you can dig and find some. But it's new and old. I especially love the upcycle rack. These patchwork pieces were so cool, especially this denim jacket. Oh my gosh, I'm sure they take forever to make. I love them. And then I also found a pair of boots that if they were my size, I would have taken home with me. Afterwards, I went into Find, and this store, I did not like it. It lacked luster, and also everything in there was overpriced. Like a pair of Union Bay cargo pants were like $30 still. I don't know, wasn't my vibe. If you like this store, sorry. However, right next door was Pinecone and Chickadee, and I loved this store, so I do think it's worth walking down that way. It wasn't even thrift or vintage, it's just a quirky, cute store to browse. It's full of like weird gifts and crafts. They even had a chili crisp cookbook in there, and anyone who knows me personally knows I am obsessed with chili crisp. But yeah, you could probably find a gift for just about anyone in there. It's a really cute store. Ferdinand was about a 15-minute walk out of the way from everything else, but I'm glad I made the stop because this shop was so cute. Not only do they have some thrift and vintage clothes, the owner makes so many cool handmade craft products that you can buy in there. There's stationery products in there. And right now they have Halloween racks out, so if you need a cheap Halloween costume, stop in at Ferdinand, you might find something. Right next door to Ferdinand was Carlson & Turner, which is on this vintage voyage map, but unfortunately they were closed when I went there. They do antique and used books though, as well as bookbinding if you need a book repaired. A Good Cause thrift store was also closed the day I did the vintage voyage map, so unfortunately I did not get to stop into that one. Right next door though is Little Ghost, and this has a fun mix of 1950s through 1990s clothes for reasonable prices, as well as having actually good $1 and $5 bins that aren't just hot garbage. I have found a couple pieces in the $1 bin that I do wear regularly. If you can only pick a couple of stores off this list to visit, make Little Ghost a stop. It's one of my personal favorites. Lastly, I did not go to the Portland Flea for All's new location, but I did stop into its old location, which is now called Open House. They have a ton of vintage home decor and furniture. If you like mid-century modern, this is the place for you. There was so much of that in there. And then they had a back room that was full of vintage clothing from all different sellers, so prices vary depending on which rack you're shopping. This store was massive, so you can definitely take some time in here. Howdy, welcome back to the haul portion of this video. This is the next day. Sun's coming through. It is cloudy as fuck outside today, but it was too dark to film this whenever I got back to my car last night, so we're doing it now. And also keep in mind, I did not get anything too big because this is all the space I have, and I'm forced to be mindful of that. But without further ado, the first stop I made a purchase at was Merchant & Co. I got Caleb this little gift. This is not his birthday gift. In fact, he already knows he's getting these. Flippin' sweet trading cards. They're just Napoleon Dynamite movie cards. He loves Napoleon Dynamite, so I thought this could be a fun little novelty that I could give him whenever he flies out for his birthday. Second, I got this really cool sticker. I don't know if this is a local Portland artist or if two stores on the Vintage Voyage just have the same cool art wholesaler, but yeah, I saw this art, two different stores, along with like other art by the same artist, but I had to get this sticker because the night before I did the Portland Vintage Voyage, I had just finished the second episode of Fall of the House of Usher. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the end of the second episode, spoiler, they're at a rave and the sprinkler system turns on and the sprinkler system has acid in there. Bummer. So everyone is melting into the dance floor. It's super disgusting, but it's pretty cool for horror nerds. I thought the scene was pretty cool. But yeah, that's what this sticker reminds me of. Lastly, from this store, I got this teeny little Dolly Parton pin. I'm probably going to pin this on my driver's side visor next to my JFK pin. The next stop I purchased something at was Coast City Comics. And how cool is their bag? This is Nosferatu on the bag, and I think it's just a cool way to make a paper bag a little more interesting for your shop. To preface, I'm just about finished with Salem's Lot by Stephen King. So every time I read a big ass Stephen King book, I have to have like a palate cleanser after. Something light, something refreshing. So I got a graphic novel. This was on their new arrivals rack. I don't know if this is a new series or if this is just new to the store, but it's by R.L. Stine and it's called The Graveyard Club. The art style was really pretty, and I do judge a book by its cover. And you know, it's gonna be a quick and festive read. I'm excited for it. I don't know anything about it. I just wanted to get it, so I'm not picky, I'll probably like it. And the last shop I purchased from was Ferdinand, and I almost skipped that store because it was like a 15-minute walk like out of the way. Like it was way further down away from everything else than the rest of the Vintage Voyage map. but I'm glad I didn't skip it. These were in the dollar bin, so I got all 3 of these for $1. First off, we got some wild animal stickers. One thing about me is that I love stationery products. I love stationery crafts. A hobby of mine is pen pal letters. You know, I went through a bullet journal phase. That shit scratches an itch in my brain. I don't have any of my sticker collection with me in the van. We're starting from scratch, baby. Bada bing, bada boom. 2 vintage Halloween sticker sheets. No, I love this vintage Halloween style. It's super nostalgic for me. Growing up in the trailer, like, all our Halloween decorations looked like this. And, I mean, my parents had their Halloween decorations from the 90s. I'm born in 1999. So, you know, the style, it warms my heart a little bit. And I just think it's super adorable. 3 sticker sheets for $1. Not 1, not 2, but 4 giant scrunchies. I've been wanting a giant, like, statement scrunchie for a while now. I had, like, a leather one saved online. I still want that one, but I found this really cool, just, like, black and white houndstooth one that I can wear pretty much all the time. And then I got a bunch of Halloween ones. So I got this one that's very in your face. Got the jack-o'-lanterns on a purple background. The lady who owns the store, like, makes these. Like, she's crafty. There's a lot of her little crafts in there. She was working on making party animals when I went up to check out, which just little dinosaur figurines that she glues little party hats on and presents and stuff. And she was like, should I put this demon baby on there? And I was like, yes, you absolutely should put the demon baby on there. But anyways, no, she was super nice, and her shop was just really cool. So not only were there, like, thrift clothes in there, there's also stuff that she makes in there, including these scrunchies that she uses from thrifted fabric, which I love. Then I got this Halloween scrunchie that doesn't have to be Halloween, you know, it's less in your face, it's just black and orange gingham. Lastly, I got this for my dear friend Abby. Abby, if you're watching this, shout out to you. I love you. I hope this comes in before you see this video. I don't know when I'm going to be posting it, so... Ghosts, ghouls, phantoms, jack-o'-lanterns, spider webs, bats, candy, candy, and what else do I have on here? I think there's kitties on here too. Yes. Scaredy cat. Another cat. Abby loves Halloween so much, so of course I had to grab one for her too. This one screamed Abby to me, so. Alright, dudes. This is everything we acquired on the Portland, Maine Vintage Voyage. This stack would be a lot taller if I wasn't trying my hardest to stay true to this whole capsule wardrobe thing. Gotta be really picky with clothes these days, unfortunately. But no, I'm super happy with my purchases today. Very cool and fun. And it's just cool to be able to go out and support some local businesses, always shop small, all that good shit. And support the Portland, Maine economy. You're welcome, Mainers. Welcome, maniacs. Whatever they call you. Anyways, that is pretty much it. So, thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.